Hey everyone, reuse, reuse, reuse. Ryan here, founder of Turn. I'm grateful to be presenting the Reuse Playbook today that Turn was a founding member of. 12 years ago I founded Turn, and at that time we got our first sports stadium. And I kept going to the stadium in our email trying to convince our first client to sign up to us, and I'd say, sustainable cups, no reply. Sustainability subject line, still no reply, and 6 months later I changed the subject line to sponsorship. Every stadium in New Zealand at the time replied to me. And so till this day, sponsorship seems to be the #1 driver for reuse. Live Nation's one of our biggest backers. We've done UEFA in Turkey, we've done the FIFA in Qatar. Sports is growing globally for us ever since we started in a small stadium in New Zealand. So I'm grateful to be here today to present the Reuse Playbook and everyone on stage who's been part of this and making this happen. Like all science textbooks, books get written every year, and this is the start of a book that will change the game for this in the sports industry since we started 12 years ago. Thanks for having us, and thanks for being part of Reuse.
Thank you, Ryan. Hi, everyone. I hope you had a great lunch and been looking at the reuse throughout the venue. My name is Lindsay Orell. I lead the sustainability for ASM Global through our ASM Global Acts program. For those of you who may not be familiar with ASM, we manage over 400 venues worldwide. And last year, we put together a group of very aggressive goals around sustainability, looking at all areas, energy, waste, water, procurement. And one of those goals is to eliminate single-use plastic from our front-of-house operation. And so when we're looking at how we can achieve that across all of these different venues, reuse is a very big, important piece of that strategy. And so that is why we chose to partner and support the Reuse Playbook. And I'm really excited to be here up with this esteemed colleagues who are also really working to make this an effort that is integrated in venues around the world. So without further delay, I'll turn it over to introduce yourselves.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. My name is Mary McCarthy. I'm the Vice President of Sustainability for Levy. We do food and beverage for many sports and entertainment venues around the country. For us, reuse is essential to the success of our sustainability goals. We do about 250 venues around the country, and right now I spend a lot of my time developing specific 250 different waste diversion plans for each one because the challenges are so great around single-use materials. So for me, reuse feels like it gets at the root cause of the challenge. They're big operational challenges, which we'll discuss, but it is the path out of our single-use conundrum and just has such incredible environmental impacts that it's a huge opportunity for us.
Michael.
I'm Michael Martin. I am the CEO and founder of Our World and Effect Partners. I started Our World, it was called Our Cup at the time, back in 2016, because up to that point I spent 25 years trying to get venues to recycle effectively. And after failing at it for 25 years, I realized the future had to become reuse because of cross-contamination and the fact that the matter of the enemy is single use. So we got to get to reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. Let's get to reuse.
Definitely. Brittany.
Hello, I am Brittany Salisbury. I am the Sustainability Operations Manager for the Portland Trailblazers and Moda Center. And reuse is essential to our sustainability strategy because it really is the gold standard when it comes to zero waste programming. And not only that, it really provides a great avenue and amazing fan-connected opportunity to spotlight sustainability and encourage our fans to participate and make them feel good when they do participate and are able to do the right thing.
Great. So Brittany, sticking with you. So obviously you have a full-fledged reuse program at your arena. So take us through what are the key steps and including the challenges that you went through to really launch that program, starting from obviously your pilot program to then the expansion to the venue overall.
Yeah. It's a big question, and I'm going to try not to talk this whole 20-minute panel about it. I definitely could. So I'm going to give kind of 4 key steps. The first one is to build your business case, and the Reuse Playbook is going to be an amazing resource to help build that business case. So start with building your business case, looking at your reuse models that are available in the market, your reuse service providers that are available, run the financials, also quantify what the environmental and social benefits are going to be, and really utilize that playbook when doing these things. And then I would definitely say when building that business case, talk to other venues that are doing this. Come talk to me. I'm happy to share. I love when teams want to come out to our arena and see our reuse operations and how we were able to really integrate it into an evergreen system within our operations. And then, the next thing, the big thing is the stakeholder buy-in. And that has to be the biggest challenge, I think, that you will face if you are trying to implement a reusable program at your venue. And I know that was my biggest challenge personally when I had this crazy idea 3 months into my role at the Portland Trailblazers, like, why aren't we doing reuse at scale? Like, we could do it. And maybe that was naive of me at the time, but we've done it, which is amazing. But we did a pilot actually to get buy-in because there was hesitation from some of our stakeholders and those typical things we kind of think about, reuse is expensive, it's going to cause operational challenges. There's a lot of fear around reuse and just, change in general from business as usual. And that pilot ended up being very successful, so successful that we got the buy-in from all of those stakeholders that were maybe originally hesitant. And they were like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's go full arena next season and create this as the standard in our operations to where the reusable cup is the standard option anyone's going to receive for an adult beverage at any location within the arena and at every single event we hold. So not just Blazer games, all of our concerts, all of our other events we hold, and we get over 1 million visitors to the arena every year. So we knew we could drive a huge impact there. And then comes the fun part. Once you have all the buy-in from your stakeholders is the design and implementation of your reuse system. So my recommendation here is to just work very closely with your reuse provider that you've selected on your vision for your reuse program. We worked with Bold Reuse, and we were able to create a program that really seamlessly actually integrated into our operations. But that came through a lot of communication and just working collaboratively together to figure out how we could get there and create the process to be frictionless, not only for our fans, but also for our staff that are the boots on the ground, running this program and making it happen. And, our guest experience, our point of sale staff at concessions, they're the true ambassadors of this program because they're the ones that are talking to our fans every day. So getting their buy-in is super important. And then the last thing the last key point I will say is have a way for collecting feedback from both your fans and then also your staff. So you can continuously improve your program and it can run smoothly into the future.
That's so helpful and very key. And again, it's so wonderful that we have the Reuse Playbook. Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's deserved. Mary, so with 250 operations throughout North America, how do you, with very distinct teams and I guess geographically and size and everything, so what metrics or indicators are you considering essential to really measure success of your program now and moving forward?
Yeah, we have a lot of diverse operations, but I think the thing we consistently look for, and I'm always talking to our teams about if they're either, depending on where they're at in their reuse journey, I'll say, is recovery rate and guest experience. And maybe guest experience first. Our teams really want to be providing incredible food and beverage experiences to the folks walking into the building, and I think there's some fear around changing that. So having positive guest feedback about a program is huge. And then the recovery rate is essential. If we don't have full venue buy-in, if we're not working together across the different stakeholders in a venue to get that recovery rate, we're throwing away more durable and more expensive vessels. So those are the two pieces that I think we really focus on to make sure that our programs for reuse are going to be successful in the short term, but then also feasible over the long term.
Definitely. And so, Michael, you have been in this space for many, many years and worked with a lot of different venue types, event types. What can you give us, your big, what are the biggest misunderstandings about reuse that are out there, and what are your solutions to those?
Well, there's hundreds of them that I've tried to boil down into 5 here. So for those of you who know me, I used to have hair before I started this company, and I've managed to pull my hair out getting this going. But it's exciting because it's happening. So I would say the number 5 misinformation, I think, is there's a perception that compostable aluminum and souvenir cups are a good environmental choice. The environmental impact of single use is meaningful on CO2 emissions, water, toxins. If you guys have not read the Reuse Wins at Live Events report, I encourage you to do that. The amazing organization Upstream, who's here, has put this together, a third party. It analyzes what choices you want to make. And the headline is that the order of cups you want to do or silverware you want to do is the best option, of course, is reuse. The next worst option is single-use plastic. The next worst is compostable, and the worst is aluminum from an environmental impact standpoint. And people are always surprised to hear that the fact of the matter that people think they're doing the right thing with compostable and aluminum, it's not the best, because the single-use plastic has the least CO2 impact. Now, of course, it depends what you want to solve for. There's different situations. I don't want to completely diss those options, but just know this, if you want to strive for the right thing, that's the best choice. And the key thing to remember, it's not just about single-use plastic, it's about single use. So think about that wherever you're operating and decisions that you're making. Souvenir cups are essentially single use. We see what happens in the waste streams. The majority of those end up in waste. And even if they're taken home, they're going to be thrown out eventually. Okay, the number 4 misinformation is sanitation concerns. The concern is, wait a minute, these cups are not going to be clean, the server is not going to be clean. What we say is, well, do you eat at a restaurant? Because if you eat at a restaurant, you're eating out of the same stuff that we're delivering. We have Ecolab certified wash hubs, we have a robotic AI quality assurance system, and we contend that the serveware and cups that we deliver are probably cleaner than the single-use cups you're getting from China. Number 3 is it's too expensive. It is a little bit more expensive than single use, but it's not much more expensive. And there are savings from doing reuse too. You're not buying stuff over and over. There's cleanup costs are eliminated. You have less costs in tipping fees. If there's an issue with that, what a lot of facilities are doing is putting a small sustainability fee in. No one complains. If it's clearly communicated, as someone said earlier, it actually benefits the venue to highlight the sustainability work that you're doing. And from my standpoint, being an environmentalist, the fact of the matter is single use does not fully factor in its true cost on the health of the people on the planet. Number 2 is the perception is it's hard to implement. It's not hard to implement. There's certain changes that need to be made, but as you've talked about, you can do it with the right buy-in. You've talked about with good partners, it can work. We're in hundreds of venues around the country, and servers love it, cities love it, the teams or artists love it. You heard Maggie talk about that this morning, and most importantly, guests love it. So all these facilities like you have offered to be references for reuse. You talk to anybody who's doing reuse, and they'll tell you how great it works. And I think that the last number 1 misunderstanding is it's niche and not proven. This is not true, and it's coming on fast. It's coming on fast. There's legislation happening around the country. I'm confident that reuse is going to be the next biggest thing in this space, like how straws took over a few years ago, right? And by next year's conference, I think reuse will have doubled in the sports space. And I want to say that this is, you look around, I mean, you saw what Lee said yesterday, what ASM and AAG are doing right now in leading the industry with Crypto.com Arena. A shout out to Eric Disler, Lindsay with ASM, the work that you're doing, Mary with Levy. Other concessionaires are embracing it. Coke is really leading with their reuse initiative with the goal of being 25% reuse by 2030. Like Billie Eilish putting in her rider, AJR, U2, other artists are doing this. We're working with FIFA, we're working with, making it happen. So it's coming in a big way. I encourage everybody to talk with you, talk with me, talk with all of us, talk with anybody who's doing reuse and hear how it's working. So this information.
Absolutely. No, well, and thank you to all the work that you're doing. Do you have a video to show us?
What's that?
Do you have a video to show us?
I do have a video to show. Yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, thank you for yes. There's a quick video to show how it's happening, I think.
Love it.
It's happening.
That's happening. Perfect. So kind of going into some of the misunderstandings, misconceptions. I mean, Mary, your organization is at the heart of these, right? Dealing with these. So how do you as a vendor, and then working with the team and the venue, and then the reuse vendor, how do you address these issues?
Yeah, I think the first piece is to just be really clear about the impact, right? Brittany's called it the gold standard. Michael laid out some of the big impacts. Our teams want to do the right thing. And so I think that education piece is the very first to help us address some of those misunderstandings. The other thing, and I think, Brittany, this is something you did so well at the Moda Center with our team, is that collaborative approach. I think our teams always struggle when they feel like something is done onto them, right? They want to be a part of it. They want to be able to provide feedback. And that pilot program that you did, which started before I arrived at Levy, was a really great way for our teams to work with you all to design the system that worked for their venue, for their constraints, for their opportunities. Each venue is very unique. So I think being able to really feel like there's a partnership between it. And I guess the other thing that I think helps a lot is feeling like every single player in the venue is on the same page, right? We all know at these venues we've got quite a diverse puzzle of different stakeholders, and our teams oftentimes struggle if they feel like they're putting forth effort at the end of the event and the other partners aren't doing the same thing. So yeah, exactly. So I think that alignment is really key, so that everyone's kind of singing the same tune, everyone's putting forth that same kind of extra effort to make sure that these programs are super successful.
Yeah, no, and I think just sustainability in general is about collaboration and engagement, and I think that's what makes it such an incredible industry and initiative to be a part of. So Brittany, as a team, and you did speak to this a little bit at the beginning, but can you give some exciting concrete examples of how you've worked to engage fans on your program? And do you think I'm assuming, I know the answer is yes, I hope it's yes, but do they care? What are you hearing back from them?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the things that was so exciting about our program at Moda Center is how seamlessly we were able to deploy the program and in the process enhance our fan experience in the arena. We made key touch points for education and engagement for fans via signage on the concourse, at our return bins with a QR code where fans could provide feedback and then they could be entered for a chance to win tickets for an upcoming game. We also have a QR code on our cups, and we also did in-arena Jumbotron assets to engage our fans as well, and celebrations when we hit specific milestones for how many single-use cups we had eliminated. And I think that tangible aspect really speaks to our fans. You know, when they scan our cup and scan that QR code, it directs them to our reuse page, which actually has a live cup tracker of how many single-use cups we have eliminated that season. And this season, we were able to eliminate almost 400,000 single-use cups from our waste stream with our reuse program, which is about 17,000 pounds of waste avoided. And to me, that's just an amazing story we can tell our fans, and they did that. Like, we gave the power to our fans to do the right thing, and they did that. And our fan surveys are showing that our fans really enjoy the program. 93% of our fans are satisfied with the program and really like the cup quality. And 91% of our fans are saying that sustainability programs like RIP City Reuse are super important to their experience at Moda Center. So in short, our fans do care, and I think it's our responsibility as a business to give them the tools and resources to do the right thing and be able to participate easily, and show what their impact is adding up to. Show that really collective action, because sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm just one person. But through this program, we can really show how collective impact can make a difference.
A study came out a couple weeks ago that said that 72% of people feel guilty using single use. And what I think is fascinating as you're talking about this, what's really cool is you go into buildings and you start to see the culture shift around and embrace it. And it's so cool because, you know, we'll start out in a building and maybe the first week it's like an 88% harvest rate. And by the end, we have like a 95 to 99% harvest rate across the country. And it works.
I mean, 91% of people agreeing to anything is pretty mind-blowing. So, all right, we are out of time, but one last question. So, on your own reuse journey, what is one key takeaway you'd like to share? And I'll just start. So, you know, when we're talking with venues that we work with, you know, our key takeaway or our one ask is just try it, just that pilot mentality. So start small if you need to introduce it, and then experience that success and then build.
I totally echo that. Just do it. I think these are significant operational changes and we shouldn't minimize that, but find the right way in your venue to pilot. You know, a shout out to the Kansas City Current. They opened up this spring and our team knows nothing but reuse at that stadium because they opened with reuse. So this is gonna become the norm. Find the right spot at your venue to get started.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's easy to execute. And most importantly, your guests love it.
Yeah, I think as leaders in the sports and entertainment industry, we hold so much power and influence. If every venue in the country switches even just one of their high volume items to a reuse model, we could eliminate over 1 billion single-use items a year. And not only that, but we could create a cultural shift away from this take, make, and waste society and towards a true circular economy.
What a great way to end. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.